Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Today in domagettyielts.com, we're going to look at one of the most important things for vocabulary for the IELTS test. This is called word formation. Word formation is the biggest single thing that can increase and improve, obviously, improve your vocabulary. So what is word formation? It's part of grammar. It's part of everything, really. So word formation is the ability to use the same word in different forms. Two of the main skills which will help you in the exam are the ability to be able to paraphrase and use synonyms, as you already know. Paraphrasing is the ability to change words in a sentence, but to keep the same meaning. Every title in every essay needs to be paraphrased. Your conclusions need to be paraphrased. Okay, so as we know, synonyms are different words which have the same meanings. Now, with regards to synonyms, IELTS treats word formation as synonyms. Therefore, it is essential that you learn how to do this, and more importantly, practice it. We're going to look at some of the steps involved and provide some examples. Now, lots of people who are studying for the IELTS like to learn lots and lots of different words, which they will never remember. This is why my personal opinion is that word formation is a much better way to go, because you're learning new words, because IELTS treats them as new words, and you're also learning paraphrasing and synonym use at the same time. So for me, this is the best way to increase your vocabulary and increase your ability. Okay, so here are some commonly used words in the IELTS exam. Verbs. We have progress, develop, affect, revolutionize, evolve, adapt, believe, prevent, need, oblige, conserve, establish, achieve, prohibit, and exploit. So this is a list of just a few of the many words which can be learnt for the exam. The purpose of us choosing the words above are to demonstrate different types of word formations. So many words in English consist of the forms noun, verb, adjective, adverb. There will be situations where you need to adapt your vocabulary to avoid repetition. Using word forms is a great way to do this. For our first example, we're going to take one of the words and create 4 typical sentences from an essay. So we're going to write similar sentences each time for each individual word. So, first word, progress. Progress can be a noun, it can be a verb, it can be an adjective, it can be an adverb, and it can be a noun. So it can be 5 things. Progress, to progress, progressive, progressively, and progression. So it's the same word, but there, as far as the IELTS examiner is concerned, if every time you use that word in a different form, it is now a new word. It's not a repeated word. I think some students have been taught that it's the same word. It is absolutely not the same word when you change it. Okay, let's look at some sentences. Progress has been made in the development of the electric car. So progress here is an uncountable noun. For electric cars to become an everyday road item, more progression is needed. We could say more progress is needed because they're both nouns, but progression is fine. The industry is making progressive steps towards the electric car replacing the petrol engine. So steps is the noun. Excuse me, steps is the noun. Progressive is the adjective. The car industry is progressively working towards the electric car becoming the norm on our roads. That should be wrong, becoming the norm. You could even say the car industry is working progressively. Both would be fine. To achieve its goal of replacing the petrol engine, car manufacturers need to progress more quickly. So as you can see, the sentences all have a similar meaning. In fact, they basically have the same meaning. We're talking about the electric car becoming an everyday item and effectively replacing the petrol or diesel engine that we currently use. The focus words have been reformed to adjust the grammar of the sentence, but the sentences are the same. So this is a way of paraphrasing, because when you use a different word, your sentence has to fit grammatically around that word. So it has to change. Okay, another one, develop. Here we have develop, development, developing. So verb, noun, adjective. There is no adverb, developingly or something like that. And there is no noun, verb, adjective. Oh yes, what was the other one? Was noun. Yeah, there's no adverb. So some words have 2 or 3 forms, some words have 5 forms, as we saw in the first example. But even 3 is still quite good, so it gives you a lot of scope. Governments must develop more efficient ways of mass producing crops to feed people. The development of more efficient ways of producing increased crops is a priority for governments. Same meaning. Developing nations need their governments to come up with more ideas to produce more crops more economically. So all 3 of these sentences again have a very similar meaning. Not exactly the same, but almost the same. Although the last sentence is slightly different from the others, the focus theme is still the same: developing more crops more efficiently and more quickly. Need. We have need, necessary, necessity, necessarily. So adverb, noun, adjective, verb. The government students need more support from the government to help fund their studies. It is necessary for students to be given support by the government for their studies. Exactly the same sentence. Verb, adjective. Funding aid by the government for students is a necessity, not a luxury. Now it's a noun. Students do not need to necessarily fund all of their studies. The government can assist them. Here we have an adverb. How are they going to fund it? Necessarily fund their studies. So these sentences could be a part of an essay about education, university, or students, or anything within that field. Now we have prevent. Prevent, prevention, preventative, preventing. Prevent, yeah, there's no adverb. So as a society, we need to take measures, that should say, my mistake. We need to take measures to prevent global warming from escalating. Our first priority with regards to climate change is prevention, followed by solutions. Globally, oh, what's wrong with me? Globally, there needs to be steps taken to initiate preventative measures to combat climate change. Preventing climate change should be at the top of a country's agenda. I wasn't paying attention here, sorry folks. Countries, a few small mistakes, but I'm sure you get the general idea. I'll make sure the next one is error-free. So study the vocabulary in the video, and as you practice, learn the new vocabulary and try to see if the words have different forms and make note of them. So as you learn words, especially verbs, try and expand them into different forms so you can use them. Instead of learning, oh, what's another word we can use for this? It's much more difficult to learn new complete words. It's much easier to learn the same root word and learn different word formations, which will be just as effective as having a huge range of vocabulary. You still need to have a good range of vocabulary, but it's very difficult to remember so many words in a short time, a few months, several months, and to remember them and to be able to use them all the time. This is a much easier method, in my opinion. Okay, so practice the exercises until you feel comfortable doing them. There is a link underneath, so go to that link and download the download the exercises and practice. Your grammar and vocabulary must be accurate but also varied to stand a good chance of getting a good score. So there will be homework provided for this lesson. Click the link below to download the exercise. So please don't forget to do that. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification button so you're reminded when a new video is uploaded. Also, please comment and please like. That also helps immensely. Thank you and see you in the next video.